How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another review. As you can see behind me, I got Moby, and I'm just trying to decorate a little. There's Klaus Schultz with his amazing Mirage album, and today we're going to be talking about Sasha and his Scene Deleted album from 2016. So first of all, if you're looking for a trance album, this is not the place. This is not the album that you should be choosing. This album is kind of a appreciation from Sasha towards a couple of artists within the ambient genre, and it is an ambient album, but I would kind of place it as like a down-tempo ambient album. And I have to say that it's got 21 tracks on it, and it's essentially what these tracks are pieces of music that Sasha put together, and somehow he wanted to fit these songs on a trance album, but realized quickly that it was just not going to work. And so he kind of put this album out thinking, okay, well, I'll just gather all these songs that I've been saving, hopefully for a trance album. But now I realize that we're not going to be putting out a trance album. We're going to do more of a down-tempo ambient album, because all of these songs are, in essence, very down-tempo ambient landscape. To hit two birds with one stone, he dedicated this album to a couple of ambient producers. So I'm gonna go through these tracks one by one, and I'll let you know what I think about them. Alright, so the first song is called Channel DEQ. It's essentially what I've come to terms with is that it's an intro. It's slightly over 2 minutes long. It has some slow piano playing with some static music. Not even music. It's just static noise with slow piano playing. And before you know it, the 2 minutes are up. So that's essentially what it is. It's an intro track to the album. All right, so track 2 is called View 2, and it's the first Meat and Bones song, which is over 5 minutes long. It's got a good, nice bass beat, and I like the hi-hat that hits right after the bass beat. The vocal sample, which keeps repeating throughout the song, is really nice. And it's not so much of an ambient track. It's more of a down-tempo track, kind of like Moby with play. So that's essentially track number 2. It's over 5 minutes long, and I really like the hi-hats on this song. The beat is really very progressive. It just keeps going, and the ambient landscape that kind of opens up before your ears and eyes as you're thinking about this song. It's a nice song to start off with. As far as the title track, View 2, I guess the track could have been called something much better, but like I said, Sasha named these tracks prior to the album, and I guess he just slapped them on this album and left the track names as they were named initially. So that's View 2. It's a pretty good track to start off with after the intro, Channel DEQ. So let's get on to song number 3. All right, so now we're into the third track, which is over 6 minutes. So that actually allows you to kind of sit back and relax and kind of let the track take you on a journey. This track has a lot of sound effects that are coming through as you hear this ever revolving beat go through. Once again, it's down tempo. It's more of an ambient track than the previous track, more than View 2. But Barracus is very, very nice. If you sit quietly and listen to it and just try to have your senses go with the flow of the music, then it kind of leaves you in a hypnotic state. It sounds very nice. It's one of those thinking tracks, tracks that you listen to late at night, and nobody's home, and you listen to the track, and it puts you in the mood to hear more. It is a top-notch song for sure. Barracus. So definitely hear it. So let's move on to the next track, which is Line Pulse. Let's get into it. All right, so Line Pulse, the fourth song on the album, starts off with like these kind of interesting sticks playing, rhythmic sticks essentially, and as the song progresses, it has this static flow of synths that envelope the sticks that are playing. It's another nice song, very relaxed. If you like relaxed ambient music, it's a good track to hear. And that's about it for that one. It's just slightly over 6 minutes. Once it gets going, it's under 6 minutes, but really a really good track. All right, the next song, song number 5, Time After Time, is not a remake of Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time. Just kidding. So Time After Time, it is much more of an upbeat track. There is a vocal sample in there that you can barely hear if you listen carefully. The beat on this track, Time After Time, can actually develop into kind of like a hypnotic house beat. If you listen to it from beginning to end, you can possibly pick that up, and it's a nice feeling after the track ends. The track itself begins very abruptly. It's not smooth at all. It just at the first second, it's just, here it is. There's no build up or anything. It's just, this is it. So that's Time After Time. Okay, so the next song, Detour, starts off very ambient. Like for over a minute, it like totally goes slowly and kind of builds. And then once it builds and gets to the plateau, there's these beats that come in, and there's vocal samples of a lady and a guy, and it's neither here nor there. Detour, I mean, I guess I would think that he was trying to go for a kind of like a East Indian vibe on this track, Detour. Other than that's it, really. All right, so next song, the 7th song off the album, is Pontiac. Now, I'm not sure if he was wanting to refer to Pontiac, the automobile that was made in Detroit, Michigan, or Sasha is thinking about the in the Canadian Indian Pontiac. He was a chief, Indian chief in Ottawa, and I believe there's Pontiac. That's where Pontiac comes from historically, and of course there's the automobile. But as far as the song goes, the song has this very strange, ever evolving beat, which doesn't get to the point, right? It's kind of like, all right, where is this beat going, and is it going to actually build to something? It never does. It kind of just randomly flows through, and before you know it, the song is over. But yeah, so it is what it is. It is one of those songs which he created, and he wasn't able to fit on an album, a trance album, so he put it on this album. And it is a down-tempo ambient track, more down-tempo than ambient in this case. Alright, so the next two songs, Cassette Sessions D and Cassette Sessions E, are actually pretty interesting. I personally prefer Cassette Sessions D. It's got this beautiful, like almost tribal rhythm of beats, and for Cassette Sessions D. And then the next song, Cassette Sessions E, it has some piano playing and is even more laid back than Cassette Sessions D. But my preference is D instead of E. So those are the next two tracks. Let's move on. All right, so the next song is Healer. It's the 10th song off the album. And this song, Healer, is truly an ambient track. It has this expansive, like, synth line that just keeps spreading forward and forward, and it's pretty nice. But other than that, not much else. Before you know it, it's over. All right, so the next song is called Modcon, Modcon, and this song has some interesting break beats that kind of progress throughout the song, and then at the very end, sort of at the tip of the end of the song, these really strong synth lines come in and are very interesting. This track I do like a lot. All right, so this next track after Modcon is Scarpa Falls, and I'm not talking about Scarpa, the hiking boots, or I think it's like a ski boot of sorts. But this is essentially Scarpa Falls, maybe like a waterfall or something like that. This track has a lot of very organic drumming. Almost you can hear like hands moving together to make the sounds. It's pretty interesting. I've come to the realization that a lot of these songs have a lot of very organic drum beats, as in not created by the computer, but rather by humans. So yeah, that's Scarpa Falls. It's a more upbeat song. It's definitely a down-tempo song, not an ambient song. Definitely down-tempo. All right, so the next song, Werewolf, starts off with this static, like radio static coming through very hard, like you can hear it really well. It's pretty interesting. And then the beat gets really, really hard, as in like a dance beat. And it's a very, I almost would want to say it's not a down-tempo song. It's just it's like a house beat almost. Yeah, so it starts off scary, ends off with a really hard beat. All right, so the next track is called Bring on the Night Time, featuring a vocalist, singer, Ultraista. And this song is essentially the first song where an actual individual sings vocals. And she's got a very nice ethereal voice. And then the beats are kind of like really a lot of them going along as she sings. And there I like the kind of the staticky type of synth that comes on after she sings, or during her singing as well. So it's a pretty good song. It's like I said, the only song that has lyrics on it, singing, female singer. So her name is Ultraista. Alright, so after Bring on the Night featuring Ultraista, there's Corvette, another song that is essentially maybe Sasha likes cars, which is great, you know. This time it's a Corvette car. and it's almost so small of a song that it's like an interlude. It's the intro, channel deck, DEQ, the first song off the album, is 2 minutes long. This song, Corvette, is shorter than that, and there isn't a beat. It's sort of like a swirling synth line that just keeps going and fades out. That's it. That's Corvette. So next song, Shelter, is a pretty good song. I personally enjoy it. It kind of builds up to a crescendo, kind of has this interesting beats that you essentially rise up to the occasion to hear the beats, and then just as they came, it kind of dissipates into nothingness, and the song ends. But it is a good song. I like it. Shelter is a good one. So the song next after Shelter is called Untitled 3. I mean, come on. If you're going to put it on an album, let's give it some kind of title other than Untitled 3, right? I know there's very unique tracks that techno artists just randomly put on whatever, but like Aphex Twin, you know, ambient 2, you know, none of them have it's like 24 tracks, and it's just 1 2 3 4 5 6 all the way up to 24, and the only one that is named is Blue Calyx. And so yeah, this is one of those titles of a song which are really, I mean, they could have given a name. Anyway, Untitled 3, it's like a human heartbeat with a little bit of a sprinkle of this and a sprinkle of that. It's kind of sound effects with a heartbeat. And that's it, folks. That's it. All right, so the next song, Abacus, which is essentially, it's that tool that people use to count mathematics, right? Move it over and subtract or add. Abacus. And this song has one of those very nice beats until it gets really high pitched. The song is so high pitched that the beat is distorted, and I know this beat. This beat is used on several techno producers, and it's always like distorted if they raise it up to a level where it's just not, you can't even listen to it. Kind of like Ventolin by FX Twin. So the next track, Rooms, is a essential song with a male vocalist singer, and he's talking about rooms and rooms that you don't go into, and sometimes it's better not to go into the rooms and figure out what is inside those rooms. It's better to just move along and not go into those rooms, whatever that means. A lot of people can take that for what it's worth and apply it to their own lives. And it's a pretty good song. I don't mind it. It's more listenable than for instance Abacus or Untitled 3. Okay, so the next song after Rooms is Broadcast. I believe it's Broadcast. Essentially, what it is like more staticky sounds. It sounds like you might be underneath water in a submarine, hearing that doot doot. It doesn't have no singing. It has no lyrics. It's a instrumental track. It's nice for what it's worth. Take it or leave it. It's not a very long song by any means. So that's Broadcast. All right, so the last song off the album, 21st song off the album, is Vapor Trails, and essentially it's kind of like a ethereal. You made it through the album. You got to the last track, and congratulations, you've reached Nirvana. Essentially, when I hear it, I kind of hear the Nepalian monks at the top of the mountains next to Mount Everest, praying and making noise, sweet noise, which is delicate and spiritual. So that's Vapor Trails. It's essentially, it's a good track for what it is. You can listen to it outside of the album and just enjoy it. It's what it is, essentially. So as far as the album goes, I mean, it's like a scraps of Sasha's musical output throughout the years, which he wasn't able to fit into a trance album, which he wanted to do. And he felt that if he did include these songs on a trance album, they just wouldn't fit. They wouldn't mesh together. And for what it's worth, these tracks are all similar in one way or another. They're down-tempo, ambient, and for that reason, Sasha went out and dedicated this album to a lot of ambient, down-tempo artists. And Essentially, that's what it is. Take it or leave it. I have to say that I do like some songs, especially Barracus, Line Pulse, Cassette Sessions D, not so much Cassette Sessions E. There's also Werewolf. I think that one's pretty good. The female vocalist Ultra Ista, Bring On the Nighttime. That's a good song. I do like The Rooms with the male vocalist singer. That one's good too. Shelter is a very good song. I like that one. Vapor Trails, last song off the album, another good one. Broadcast, not so much. Pontiac, Corvette, for what it's worth. Sasha likes cars and likes to name his songs after cars he likes. Let's hope that's the case, because otherwise I just don't know. View 2, which is the second song off the album, is great. It gets you going into the album. It kind of it's like the meat and bones of the album. View 2, Barracus, Line Pulse, those are the songs that get you interested and get you into the album, and before you know it, you're listening to all these scraps of remnant songs that Sasha created in the past, and some are long, some are short, some are just a heartbeat with static. So if you like down-tempo albums, like for instance, if you like Moby's Play album from 1999, I think you would like this album. If you like ambient music, it's give or take. There's some songs that are truly ambient-like, but others where they're more of a down tempo, right? They're not ambient by any stretch of the imagination, right? So as far as the album goes, if you have Apple Music, you can also listen to a continuous mix that Sasha created with all of these songs together, and not in this order, but they are these songs that he mixes. And for what it's worth, the continuous mix is even better than listening to these songs all by themselves, one after another. The continuous mix kind of builds upon each track and kind of makes you feel like you're on a journey, even more than just listening to them one after another without the continuous mix. So I'm not sure if the continuous mix is on the CD, or if you can, it's most likely not on LP, but probably if you can stream it, you can hear it. You can hear the continuous mix. And if you have Apple Music, just search Sasha and go to his Scene Delete album, and at the very end of all the tracks, you'll see it'll say continuous mix. And I definitely urge that you hear the continuous mix, because I did myself, and I personally like the continuous mix. I do like these songs some more than others, but it's what it is. It's kind of like he wanted the people to hear these songs, and he didn't want to just scrap them and throw them away. He wanted to put them out so people could hear and take it or leave it. It is what it is. It's not a trance album. Sasha fans are mainly trance listeners. This is definitely a break from trance music. It's Sasha going on a road that he hasn't traveled before. In essence, down tempo ambient music. Right. It's Klaus Schultz here with Mirage. He's a true pioneer from the 70s, and he knows what ambient music is, but Sasha, not so much. But Sasha did what he could, and he put it out, and it's an okay album. I can see this album growing on me more over as time goes by, but is it an album that I would like to go back to and listen to from time to time? Maybe, but not necessarily right away, because it's just too. Most of the songs are just really short, and that doesn't make the songs bad, but I mean, the ones that are over 6 minutes or over 5 minutes long are the best ones off of this album. The ones that are the intros, the interludes that are 2 minutes or less, those I don't have to hear them again. But the ones that are over 6 minutes or 5 minutes, those are worth listening to over and over again. Anyways, as far as the album goes, my thoughts on this album are the ranking that I want to give it is 7.5 out of 10. Given that it is what it is, and take it or leave it. You will like it or you will hate it, and if you like down-tempo ambient music, you might appreciate it over time. I think that over time I'll appreciate it even more, but as of now, what the rating is, 7.5 out of 10, I think that's worth its weight in gold, and so I'll leave you at that. And the next album, I'm gonna review some new artists that I came across. So keep in track, as far as what new videos that will come out on this channel. Please like and subscribe and comment. Let me know what you think about this album. I would really like to know if you like it, or if you've never heard it before, or if you hate it. Just let me know. And if there's another Sasha album that you want me to review, let me know as well. But I am going to move on to another artist, and it'll be most likely one that is a newer artist, and I'll leave you with that. Till next time, have a good night.